Naveen Venkat, a 45-year-old who has built a corpus of 6 crore through disciplined investing.
If I have to talk about my stock portfolio, it's like a mini zoo.
With a starting salary of 1.2k per month, his salary remained under 10 lakhs for the first 10 years of his career.
Literally, I had no clue wealth means in 2015.
Today, as he sees achieving his financial freedom in the next 2 to 3 years, we discussed with him his mistakes, his frameworks, and his life mantra.
For a common man like you and me, I think it's not easy.
Hi Naveen, welcome to Power of Money. When I speak to financially free people and people who are on path of it, especially in the IT sector, I see a lot of people doing frequent career switches. But your journey is different. You stayed in Dell for like 13 long years and also had less frequent switches. So tell us more about your early career journey that sort of helped you build the 6 crore corpus eventually.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you, Nada. It's been a great pleasure for me to be on your podcast. And this is my first one, so let me see what best I can tell you from my career journey point of view. Well, I'm Naveen. So as you know, Naveen Venkat. My first salary started off with 1,200 rupees.
Okay, that's what year?
That's per month. And I was actually assembling tape recorders back then. And so every tape recorder you assemble, you get certain small cut, right?
Okay.
So I did that for like little over 3 months. And then I moved into Dell. Dell was my first space in a call center. Been a services guy for a little over 24 years. Been with Dell for 10 plus years. That was like my first job. And then moved into HP. HP, why? Purely because it was a competitor. So I want to understand how competition works. And then I moved into 3 other companies. Replicon, which is a call center related company. And then I moved into Atlassian, what we use today for Jira software. And then my last assignment was with Twilio. So Twilio is primarily a CPaaS company, which is operating at a messaging software space, right? So, and prior to joining corporate, I come from a village which is like 100 kilometers from Bangalore. Till fifth standard, I probably studied only in Kannada medium. So, which is for me, English was not my first language. So I sort of moved into English medium only at around 6th standard.
No, amazing. And I think coming from a very small town to today, on your way to financial freedom, I think so inspiring journey. So Naveen, how has your relationship with money evolved over the years? You didn't come from money, right?
Yeah.
How did that change?
See, as a family, we were not exposed to markets, right? So if I really go back and tell my dad that, hey, I want to invest in stock market back then, he would say, don't do it, right? So even today, probably he might say that. So the only thing closest to me was real estate. So I got into it, so started slowly investing in real estate. Of course, I burned my fingers because there are a lot of legal issues that gets involved in real estate. It's not easy, at least for a common man like you and me. I think it's not easy, but I still went there because that's the only source that I could still see that I can invest. Post, I think till 2015, 2016, I was heavily on real estate. But at the same time, 2015, I realized that I need to start slowly diversifying because I'm probably sitting on a very high real estate portfolio. Literally, I had no clue what to build wealth means in 2015. But the good thing is a couple of my friends also suggested a few courses, so which I got into it. There was one specific advisor who helped me to invest in Axis was my first mutual fund. And when I got into it, probably it took a little over 3-4 years to sort of start moving to a sizable shape. Or I would say maybe towards, let's say if I had invested 1 lakh, it moved towards 2 lakh towards 5th year. That's when you realize, okay, it can actually bump up, right? Till then, you really see 20% minus and then it goes up 30%. Then you're like, hey, is this what you're trying to do, right or wrong, right? So that's been my journey over stock markets. At the same time, 2020, I realized that diversification is important because we all know what happened in the world. We got hit with COVID. I was super heavy on real estate. And my properties got vacant for 1.5 years. And interestingly, I used to end up paying the electricity bills, the water bills. It doesn't matter to government, right? They still, and on top of that, you're not earning rent, but you're paying EMIs. So it was like a double whammy. for me to say, hey, this just doesn't work.
Right.
So 2020 post COVID, I think I became a little bit more serious about markets, and then I said, okay, I will certainly move at least 25% of my assets into stock
Okay.
markets. So that diversification journey started, and I had to
Okay.
move towards stock markets. Still admire my mentor, who is his name is Piyush. Piyush Bhai, if you're watching this video, it's for you. And he is a Gujarati. So
Okay.
he really taught me how investments should be looked at. Yeah, that's been my journey so far.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think great step by step, journey and into building the corpus. So I think your investment journey has three phases. If I talk about it, from starting your first job to 2015, you were heavily invested in real estate. 2015, you decided to have exposure to markets where you started with trading. And then 2020 onwards, you started investing more towards the mutual funds and long-term wealth creation. So I think let's jump quickly, directly into your portfolio. As per your three phases of investment journey, how is your portfolio allocated across different asset classes?
Right. So my portfolio overall, if I look at, I'm at 65% real estate as of today.
Okay.
35% on the capital markets. Eventually, probably if you ask me next 2 to 3 years or maybe 5 years, I want to get that down to 50-50, right? So that I start liquidating some of my real estate and move towards the capital markets. The reason why, I think for all of us, every 5 years things change, right? Emotionally, our lives, our thinking, we might grow up big, all that, right? So our requirements do change. So I think it's very important for you to have liquidating feed. Tomorrow, let's say if I want to have 1 CR in my pocket through real estate, it's just impossible. Getting back to my portfolio, so today I'm at 35 on capital markets. Within 35%, I would say 60-40. 60 is into mutual funds,
Okay.
and 40 is in in the direct stocks. This is primarily into the breakup of my portfolio.
Got it. Got it. So, given real estate is the major part, and I think we spoke a lot about the negative points of real estate where you had issues in liquidating it and, other problems that we have with real estate. So, what are the kind of properties that you own? Is it residential, commercial, up for rent, land, apartment?
Yeah.
How does it
So
look like?
I have two individual property units,
Okay.
which is all. I mean, all of them are residential.
Okay.
Again, commercial has its own set of issues because these are tenants who may not vacate when you want them, right? So it's not easy to get over, right? So somewhere I strongly believed it's okay for residential units. It's okay even if you're making 1%, but you still have that peace of mind, right? So pretty much into small units
Okay.
and.
Units is in apartments, like for rent.
No, it's individual sites with
Okay.
multi building. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So up for rent,
Up for
basically.
rent. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So two residential
Two
apartments.
residential, small buildings which give us like 1 lakh each,
Okay.
and I'm still outstanding with like close to 1 CR plus loan. So once I'm probably done with that, then I can certainly say, hey, this is up for me, right? So yeah.
Right. Actually, I was going to ask about loan part because you mentioned, right, early back in the day, you had you started with like 8,000 salary, and I think as we were talking about, for the first 10 years of your
Yeah,
career,
yeah.
you were earning less than 10 lakhs, right?
Yeah,
So how
yeah.
were you financing the real estate investment that you have?
Yeah, great question again, Navda. So, see, 2001 to 2010 was like a little different era for Bangalore. So, you would probably get a residential site for 10 lakh. You'd probably get a residential site for 12 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 6 lakhs.
Okay.
So, like I said, since I had taken like 9 loans, most of my loans went into these buying sites.
Okay.
So I used to buy like smaller places, like let's say 10 lakhs one. You buy one and then hold it for 1 year, sell it off, whatever margins you make, repay that back to the loan.
So you were flipping properties.
Correct.
Okay.
So, but that's not sustainable, is what I realized. I would rather say go with a Gangu one property, which is like for your lifetime. So, though that was a big mistake which I did. But the good thing is I started clearing loans.
Okay.
Right. So, out of my 9 loans that I have taken, by the way, congrats to me, I took one more loan now, which is a car loan.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll talk about that. So, out of 9, and the last entry was 10, I would say I have cleared like 8 So I still have 2 more outstanding loans on that.
And these 9 loans were for these
Pretty much on the
properties.
residential properties.
So I think, Naveen, let's move to the other part of the capital markets, which is stocks and mutual funds. So I think the bigger portion is in mutual funds. So what's your strategy to pick mutual funds, and how is your mutual fund portfolio like?
So overall, my mutual fund portfolio strategy is all about, I follow mutual fund manager, and then I follow Sharpe ratio.
Okay.
I think highly crucial, because when you follow the manager, he is an expert. Look, when you believe that you're investing your money in a company, you also need to know who is the leader of the company, and what kind of strategies are, what kind of thinking that he comes with, right? And what's his track record. I mean, I've never chased returns, to be frank. At the same time, I've chased the manager. And there are situations where if the manager moves out of a specific company A to B, I have also taken a decision to just stop SIPs here and move back to the new company, so that I still just follow the leader, right? Is that a great strategy? May not be, but I still feel it's actually worked for me, right? Because in a capital market, I think the mindset is very, very important. So you need to be following the right leader so that your money grows. So specific to my portfolio, I'm at 65 to 70% on large cap,
Okay.
and another 15% on mid cap, and another 10% on small cap, right? So also letting you know, I have slightly different strategies. Like I have different portfolios for different goals.
Okay.
So which basically means, let's say for my retirement, I'm only invested on my small cap,
Okay.
which I just don't care for next 10 years, because I know eventually they'll get there. But in the interim, they might have their own cycle. But let's say for my next 5 years, requirement or a goal, I'm invested in hybrid, wherein I know they actually take care of the debt and equity allocation, which I don't have to care about, right? But I need my money, let's say by 2030, I'm absolutely on hybrid, nothing else, right? If
So
I
you're
need
accounting for hybrid in the large cap segment, or okay.
yeah. So which means the fluctuation is not very high, right?
Okay.
And I can still sleep peacefully, right? Look, when the market's correct, everything corrects.
Yeah.
Maybe small caps correct more, and mid caps correct next, and then probably the large cap. But so this is a classic example, right? 2020, every single cap corrected.
Yes.
There's not even a single cap which was like, I'm going to be a leader of this industry, right? So everything got corrected, right? That's one thing. At the same time, my stock portfolio, my strategy is always on pick top 2 leaders in the sector.
Okay.
For example, let's say IT sector, I'm heavily invested on TCS and Infosys. Banking, I'm on SBI and then HDFC. So likewise, I pick, let's say, top 2 or 3, the big players who are in that particular natal industries, and then go with them. At the same time, I'm also cautious on one thing. I go with the 80-20 model, which basically means in any specific sector, top 3 players, you just go check the data, I have validated it. Top 3 players contribute to 80% of your sales. It's proven. Maybe in some industries it might go 5, but top 3 always go more than 65 to 75% of the total sales or the profits, and so on. So I think that's how my strategy has been. But one thing I am also designing in the recent past, at least in last 1 year, is, while all of us talk about large cap, mid cap, small cap, I think a lot of times we need just 3 things. One is multi-asset, multi-cap, and flexi-cap. I think if you are diversified within these, they themselves get diversified across the industry. Next 10 years, I'm purely on small cap.
Okay.
Next 5 years on hybrid, and next 1 or 2 years I'm only on debt, or probably an FD, right? So simple, because I know, let's say HDFC pays me like 6.5% FD, but my money gets credited in next 1 minute if I just break my FD. So I'm okay. That way, even debt might come back to me in next 3 days. But if I need something like tomorrow or next 1 hour, I have my FD, right? So 10% should always be on something which can just get you quicker.
Right. So you have debt in your overall portfolio, I think 2-3% overall, like in bonds and everything.
So yeah, bonds would be around 2%, and the actual debt funds, right? So they're around 5%.
Okay.
Why I prefer to keep that way is, I have my SIPs going every month. So typically my debt funds move towards my SIPs.
Okay.
So what I usually do is, so your debt anyway gives you like let's keep it 5 or 6%, and then you're consistently moving your from debt funds to the equity funds. So
Okay.
that gives you whatever that market needs to give, right?
Oh, okay. You mentioned on the small, mid, and large cap strategy, right? I think, and fair point what you said about multi-asset versus large, mid, small. I think large, mid, small are just the building blocks. So whatever proportion you build that together,
Yeah.
it's either a multi-cap for you, or it's a multi-asset or a
Yeah.
flexi cap.
Yeah.
So I think that makes total sense. Within each of these categories, do you have like a multi scheme, like you have 3-4 schemes in each category? How does that work?
Okay. I really want to spend some time here so that even the audience understand. So if I have to talk about my stock portfolio, it's like a mini zoo. And when I say that, I have like 65 stocks.
Oh.
The reason why I also have them, and yeah, a lot of people also say that, hey, you can't have more than 10 stocks in a portfolio, maybe 20 for some, but I'm still okay with that, right? So my stock portfolio consists of a strong dividend payers and strong consistent performance, like I said about TCS or HDFC and so on. I know HDFC had not grown as much as it needs to be versus its sales top line or bottom line growth. I'm still okay to hold that company because I believe when India is growing, HDFC has to grow. When HDFC is growing, India is growing, right? For me, that's my indicator, right? So that's on my stock portfolio. At the same time, on my mutual fund, I think, like I said, I have in one of my portfolio, I have 23 different mutual funds.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is small cap, which I have kept it for next 10 years. So yes, there could be a thought process. I'm sure you might even tell me, hey, why do you need 23? This is something I did it as a mistake, probably like 3+ years back. Yes, there are things that I'm trying to course correct them by. I mean, see, there are two things. One, I can just sell everything and get rid of it and make a clean slate. But at the same time, I am also conscious about my taxation, right?
Right.
So if I just sell everything, I think it just doesn't make sense. So my 23 small cap mutual funds are trying to go away over a period of time, which means I'm trying to just rebuild on those. At the same time, I have what? Little over 20 plus another mutual funds, which is what I'm actually using your app, Power of Money, which is telling me what is out of track, right? And I'm still trying to evaluate. I'm not even going with what the app tells me. Hey, why is it telling me? And how can I really go back and look at what my analogy versus what Power Up is actually telling me, right? So I'm just trying to mix and match and marry and see does it really work or it doesn't work, right? So yeah, I mean those would be my thoughts.
Right, right. No, I think no, after this conversation, we will walk you through how do we rate the funds and everything. But that's also something that we have observed in our users also, that you start an SIP in one particular fund, and then that goes on for the rest of your life, and then you start another and you start another, but you never really exit
Yeah.
from your older ones, and that's how you sort of create a portfolio of 60 plus
Sure.
funds over like 20 years of your wealth creation
Right.
journey, right? I think that's something that often is seen, and that's why rebalancing is something that we recommend, and
I agree.
it's important to clean up the portfolio time to time. So we'll discuss about that after the podcast. So Naveen, in your investments along these years, right, how much were you investing back then and how much are you investing today?
Okay, so first 10 years of my life, I think it was like pretty low, right? So like I said, my entire focus was on real estate rather than stock markets. Post 2020, I made a SIP of around, I think I started around 10K.
Okay.
I didn't do it consistently, so I just left it probably like 6 months because I saw it was like too much of zip zaps. Then I felt it's not for me. I restarted my SIPs. I started with 25K. Today, my current SIPs would be around 1 lakh. But I have slightly different strategies. Like I said in the beginning, so whenever, okay, my one of other strategies which I also follow is whenever markets correct 10%, out of my portfolio, I add 10% more.
Okay.
So let's say if I have 1 share portfolio and I see market is corrected 10%, I add another 10 lakhs.
Okay.
Provided I have funds at that point in time. If not, one of the things I'm also doing is I just pledge my mutual funds, take loan out of it, add 10 more percent. I'm still okay to pay the 10% fee for the mutual funds. At the same time, over a period of time, once the market recovers, let's say that market is able to give me like whatever 25-30%, repay your loans, right? Just take out the pledged units. I'm not selling anything, right? So that's one thing I found very interesting and unique with mutual funds, because you don't have to sell. You just pledge your money, pledge your mutual fund, and then you use it for the funds. So technically, if you ask me, I'm 125% invested, not 100%, because I keep adding whenever the markets, and that's exactly, so what you see in my current portfolio is what you will see in my client's portfolio. It's just a match of the same, right? Because unless I'm not convinced in what I'm investing, I don't even want to have my clients invest the same.
And you mentioned doing 1 lakh SIP. So what percentage it is of your total income? Like how much do you sort of keep aside for expenses? And have you maintained that discipline all along?
Yeah, so 30% I keep aside specifically for my household expenses,
Okay.
which I know for sure. So on an average, including my insurance, everything comes up to close to 80K, 90K around, right? 15% I keep aside for my travel, because that gives me motivation. I was just telling your friend, we just visited Chardham like a couple of months back, and it's been a great, for me, that was like first north exploration of nature side, right? So that's been great. So around 10 to 15% on these expenses. Okay, I want to share this example again, right? So every single penny that we spend every single day, my kids write it in a book, right? Because I'm also in this journey, I'm also trying to educate them financially. So every day, whatever I spend, my wife spends, including whatever they spend, we just put it in a book. So even they learn, hey, how much I'm actually spending every single day. And they tell me like an account, like every month, hey, we spent like close to 50,000, 60,000, whatever the number could be. And I also ask them, typical dads in India, right? What's your top 5 expenses, right? So I think that also gives them a good moment to how how the expenses are actually increasing or decreasing overall. So I think we are very disciplined on our expenses. And in the beginning, like I said, if I'm earning a lakh, I leave for 75,000.
I think I would like to ask at this point, right? You have around 6 crores of corpus. Half of that is in real estate. Half of that is liquid in terms of, mutual fund and stocks. You still want to continue to work, right? So 2 things here. One, what is your FIRE number? How did you calculate it? And how do you see life beyond, achieving this number?
So, again, I've not yet achieved my FIRE number. My FIRE number is, so on an average, let's say my expense is like, assumption, it could be like 1 lakh. The typical framework tells me like, 300 plus times is good enough, right? So I'm not at there, right? I think I will probably take some more time to reach there. At the same time, one should not just retire. For me, I think it's a wrong, or probably I would say over iterated, word, because unless you're busy mentally, physically, I think that keeps you moving. That's what I want to do, irrespective of whatever the portfolio size that could become in next 5 years, 10 years, which I don't know.
Almost everyone that I've spoken to who is financially free is still working.
Yeah.
It's just not a typical job, but something that they really like. And I think that is what you want at the end of the day. You want the freedom of time and do what you want to do. So I think that's the goal to have. And I wish you all the luck to, achieve that in the next few years. I also want to particularly ask, you have 2 kids and you mentioned your framework of calculating the number. Did you also bake in their milestone events like their education, wedding, whatever? How did you plan that along the way of, building your corpus and here forward?
I think that's one thing which I wish I would have been much more cautious. Because the kids' education, I think I had pretty much planned, but not like a big events in their life or which big milestones in their life. So that's what keeps me pushing to do, probably work for a couple of more years, so that I still build that corpus.
The reason I ask this also, because I think when you were talking about mutual funds, you mentioned how you have like certain schemes for certain goals, right? So short-term goals in large cap or debt, and then for long-term goals like retirement, it's in small cap. So is that also baked into one of these mutual? Like, do you do that kind of strategy that okay, I'll liquidate this fund when this milestone happens?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to say something like a Sukhana Samriddhi, right? Which I think you would have heard from others too. So that's purely for my kids' education, right?
Okay.
But am I heavily invested there? Because even government doesn't allow you to invest beyond 1.5 lakhs per annum. So I'm slowly getting in there, right? So that is one. And second thing, probably, well, let's say my PF, which is more like a debt, which is not related to market, but I want to use it for, let's say, one of my daughter's major events in their life, right? So my capital is protected. At the same time, I'm getting whatever small interest that company, the PF company decides to pay, but I'm aligned to that particular goal.
Okay.
And the small caps, mid caps, other things, what I told you earlier, probably more towards my retirement. And I'm very clear that I would probably make a, let's say, a mediocre marriage for my daughters. At the same time, support them throughout the life. I think to me that's very, very important, that rather than saying, hey, I made like one CR spend on my daughter's marriage, I'm done and dusted. That's not the case, right? So because you're going to be living with the kids too. So that's one thing also pushing me not to go anymore on real estate, because one thing that me and my wife discuss is we don't know where our kids are going to live, right? So we want to be closer to them. And if I'm heavy on real estate, honestly, I just can't do that. I'm going to be stuck to Bangalore, right? While I love this place, but at the same time, I want to be more mobile, more travel, where, let's say, my daughters live in a X and Y place. I want to be like in the mid spot where we just keep shuttling and maybe live with her elder one for a couple of months here. So just keep supporting. I think that's how the family works. So that would be my view on it.
Yeah. So do you own
Yeah.
this property?
Yeah,
You've
I
bought
do.
it
I
for
do.
yourself. So this is the only property, and that's not included in your corpus right now.
Correct. That's
Okay.
right.
Which is fair. You shouldn't include this one. For,
I'm good. Yeah.
yeah. No, definitely makes sense. And I think last question, and we'll wrap up this lovely conversation, Naveen. I think our audience is this 30-year-old who is on their journey for wealth creation, for them and their families. What is that one piece of advice that you would leave them with, basis your years of experience and mistakes you made?
1% of your wealth should go back to society. And I have been a strong proponent of doing something called systematic giving plan. And I've also done a small video around this, so please watch it. So why I say that is so even before you start investing, I think you have to start giving back. Let that be $10, let that be 100 rupees, let that be 1,000 rupees. When you do that consistently for 1 year, which is 12 months, trust me, you have built your discipline in investing. So don't invest straight away. If you're a 30-year, don't come to market. Go back to charity. Do it consistently for 1 year. That gives you discipline. That gives you that strong conviction that, okay, if I'm able to do this every month, just like an SIP, auto debit it, give it to one of your family member who needs it, give it to an NGO, right? But first trial it out. And post 12 months, you know that, hey, I've done this to 12 months. Now is the time, damn, I need to start my SIP. Do it then. To answer to your question, am I making 2 crores portfolio or 5 crores portfolio? Doesn't really matter. To me, am I traveling? Am I not comparing with anybody? And what is that I'm trying to give it back to society, right? So even today, if you walk out, I have a water harvesting in my apartment, which we actually did it. And I, whichever society I visit, first thing I ask is, hey, have you done something for this, right? See, look at it this way. So you said you live in Kormangla. Kormangla has like what, thousands of flats. How many people are actually doing? And when it rains, it just gets flooded.
Yeah.
We just created these problems, nobody else, right? And I've been living here for last 35 years in Bangalore, and the Bangalore I have seen versus today is like way different, right? So that's my view.
Yeah. No, I think great sort of ending note to the conversation, Naveen. I think not just about investing, but also giving back, which is equally important. But just one tiny little thing that you mentioned around, how someone, if they reach their first crore, that's the big milestone. When did that happen for you?
For me, I think that happened around 2022, 23, I think, 23.
Wow.
Frankly, I never realized that it's just happened. Right?
And so 2001 you started earning, 2022 you made the first, and
Yeah.
then it just grew 6
It
times
grew,
in the
yeah,
last.
because what I also felt is I need to start moving my funds to capital markets, because I was, like I said, I was stuck on real estate heavy, which I am still today. So that's where I said I'm slowly going to be exiting there. Typically, let's say if my expenses are like 1 lakh a month, and if I have 1 CR portfolio, I'm covered for 100 months. Basically, it means that I'm buying my next 100 months today, right? To me, I think that's a big thing, right? So like I said in the beginning, my role got restructured in my last company. I'm still not worried, right? Because I know I have 100 months in my pocket, right? Financially, right?
Yes.
Not otherwise. So I think that gives you a lot of conviction. That gives you a strong belief to capital markets, right? Because you believe that, okay, they are here to stay, and you got to be with them.
Yeah.
Right.
You spoke about your investments in direct stocks, right? What are some of the mistakes you made in this particular asset class that you would want to, sort of caution our audience against?
I think I would love to explain this. So, in my stock portfolio, I think one of the worst mistakes that I have done is, with all due respect, the S Bank. Why? Because I think that's where diversification taught me. So, what happened is, I want to give these numbers, maybe it helps audience too. I started buying S Bank at 410 rupees.
Okay.
If you check the number, that's the number it was. And it came down 10%. Typical investor, I added another 10%. It came down another 20%.
Sunk cost
I
fallacy.
kept adding without realizing what's the total portfolio allocation for S Bank to my overall stocks. And then one fine day when I realized that S Bank actually touched 1 rupee, I'm actually saying 99% of my S Bank investments is gone.
Wow.
So which means if I had invested like 5 lakhs, it's technically 4,92,000 only. I mean, I lost 4,92,000. I just had 8,000 rupees. That was a big mind change for me to
Are these
say.
actual numbers you invested?
Technically actual numbers.
5 lakhs.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I can just share that. So for me that was like a big thing, because even today 5 lakhs is absolutely important for all of us. And being an investor, I think if I don't know how my portfolio allocation looks like, it's the mess. So even if out of 65 stocks that I talked about, if you look at it today, I still have a great allocation. So, for example, yesterday Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv fell by 8%. I'm not worried, because for me, they're part of 5% of my portfolio.
Okay.
So, the mistake which I talked about or I did about S Bank, I'm not doing the same thing, right? But I might not be an expert like a mutual fund manager, like I mentioned, right? So, I think that would be my biggest mistake, I would say. The other thing is, um, so there are certain stocks which I'm not over empowering them. For example, like an IRFC, right? So I used to buy IRFC like when it was 20 rupees, but my allocation was not great. So today IRFC has moved towards 150 rupees, but my allocation is less than 1%.
Okay.
So what I've learned in this stream of things is, an asset which you don't have more than 2% should not be in your books. Just write them off.
Enough skin in the game.
I mean, it just doesn't serve the purpose. So, I mean, yeah, you can be happy that it's not impacting your portfolio negatively, but it's neither impacting your portfolio positively, right? So, scientifically, if it's not more than 2%, take them off, which means you don't believe in them. So, it's not that I didn't believe in IRFC, but at the same time, maybe I didn't go do the right calculation. How much is it attributing to my overall portfolio, which a mutual fund manager will do, right? So you and me might be struggling to do that, right? So I think that would be a typical mistake, I would say. So S Bank has been a great learner for me. I want to also talk about this Lakshmi Vilas Bank.
Okay.
So just like any typical Indian, so I thought, okay, Lakshmi is there in the name. Maybe it's a good bank to buy. So I bought a couple of shares. So they got delisted. So don't go with emotions, saying, okay, it's a Lakshmi and other names. Do your research, go through P&L statements, and the primary thing is see where that stock is aligned to, which industry, which sector, right? And if it's a growth sector, great, right? If it's not a growth sector, no, like I said in the beginning, know what you're buying.
Yeah.
If you don't even know what you're buying, don't buy it.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense, right? So, yeah.
No, I think great. Thank you so much, Naveen, for sharing your journey. It's so inspiring, so practical, and I'm sure the audience would have so many takeaways from today's conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it's been my pleasure to be part of your podcast. So this is my first one too. Yeah, I think it's been a great pleasure for me as well. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.